Hey, what's happening? Fearless networking friends, Todd Falcone here, back with another episode. Today we're going to talk about why people quit and what you can do about it. Let's chat about it, shall we? So, all right. Well, first of all, I want you to think for a second, if you did a network marketing business before and you went on to another one, why did you quit? And people quit for different reasons. So I'm not saying there's one reason why people quit. There are some things that we can control and other things that we can't. Like when I left businesses, during my active career, I built 6 companies to the top of the compensation plan 6 different times. Why was it not one? I don't know, because it just worked out that way. It is what it is. And I don't regret it. But I left companies. Typically, I left companies because I lost faith in corporate leadership. So, one instance, one instance, I wasn't really into the product, and I just wasn't passionate about the product, so I left. And another instance, I had a company who the owner yelled at all the top distributors, so I left. I'm not going to go into the other reasons, but it doesn't matter. I left in my case, because there were just things that changed and it was time for me to go. I lost faith in the company. And so what we got to think about are things that we can control as independent distributors. Now you can't control what the company does, but there are definitely things that we can do with our reps that will help us to, keep people from quitting. And I think it involves us being involved with our people, right? Like a quick example. Some of you guys have heard this story. I got this guy Mark that I worked with for many years, and I've told this story many times because it's just such a great story. Because this guy came to me quitting. He came to me saying, "I'm quitting," and he came to me. I'm like, "You're quitting?" I'm like, "Why are you quitting?" He's like, "I don't have the time to devote to the business. I'm super involved in my church. I've got stuff going on with my family. I've got a 70-hour-a-week job. I've got a 2-hour commute." And ultimately, I'm not going to go into the whole story, but I helped him come up with a solution to his situation by communicating with him and trying to figure out what was going on. Like, why was he frustrated? In his case, in this instance, he was frustrated because he didn't have the time to devote to the business. So we kind of looked at his schedule and we determined, and that was crazy because he had a 2-hour commute into LA and a 2-hour commute out of LA. And we turned that commute time into production time, and in less than a year, we got him to over $10,000 a month working in his car. He literally only worked on the way into work and on the way home from work for the first year until he ended up going full-time in network marketing. But the key thing here is okay, here comes a guy that's quitting. You got to find out, why are they frustrated? Why are they quitting? And he's coming to me. Fortunately, he was coming to me to tell me he was quitting. Most people just become a 0 on your genealogy report and just kind of disappear, and you don't even have a chance to save them. But I think one of the key things is, and again, yet another word that's kind of commonplace. So if you go back over months of videos that I've done, I've used the word communication. Communication is the key to success, right? So another example, and I've learned from my mistakes. I had a guy on my team, second level to me. He was a pretty good producer. He was doing 95 at the time. I remember he was right around 95,000 a month in volume. And I noticed that the volume had dipped, and this is the mistake I made. I didn't stay in regular communication with him, and things happen. We don't know, but things happen. That's how life is. And some stuff happened in that organization which caused him to kind of go sideways a little bit. And by the time I found out about it, it was too late for me to save him. So I made the mistake of not communicating regularly with this guy, which is why some of you have heard me talk about, I have this rule, it's called the 7-day rule, which is essentially you never let more than 7 days pass without having some form of communication with the key assets on your team, the biggest builders on your team. I'm not going to get into that now, but you can probably find that in another video or another thing that I've done. But okay, so why do people quit? Well, people quit for different reasons. They quit because, most of the time they quit because they're not making any money, right? Think about it. If they're not making any money, they quit. Sometimes they quit because they don't really dig the product. Sometimes they quit because of a personality conflict. They quit for different reasons, I said at the beginning of the session. But a lot of times, and I would say a good percentage of the time, people quit because they just aren't making things happen fast enough. So how do we prevent that? How do we keep people from quitting? I think one of the ways we keep people from quitting is by making sure that we start people, that we work with them, that we embed ourselves in with them, like we actually physically do stuff with them, which you guys have probably heard me talk about before. And when we invest time in people, and sometimes we invest time in people and it doesn't work out, we could still invest time in people and then they bail and they go to another company. I've had that happen. And maybe you have too. Yeah, I invested all this time. I worked with this guy, taught him everything I knew about network marketing. He had no loyalty and he left. And you know what? Sometimes that happens, even if you're doing the best possible job that you can. But one way for sure is to, because I don't know, I mean, think about you. Like if you're making even $500 a month from a network marketing deal and your cost of doing business with your auto ship is $150 and you're netting out $350, even if you're not really super active, you're not going to just bail out because that would be kind of a foolish financial decision, right? It cost me $150, I make $500, I net out $350. I want that $350 in profit. I mean, most smart people would probably keep doing it, but I think, you know, the understanding why people quit. Again, they quit for different reasons. They quit because, and again, when we're talking about the things that you can control. Again, you can't control what's going on at the corporate headquarters. You can't control about the ingredients that are in the product, and maybe they had to change the ingredient because the FDA came in and said, okay, we're not allowing that anymore. They're fun, aren't they? And then the product formulation changes, and then the people aren't getting the kind of results they were getting before. You can't control that. But the thing you can control is how you work with your team, how you communicate with your team, how active and how involved you are with the people that are in your organization, and that you're maintaining a regular habit of working with the individuals in your organization and stay closely in communication with them so that, you know, if something goes sideways or if they're frustrated about something or they're not seeing the kind of progress that they'd like to be seeing, you can catch it. You can communicate with them and find out what their struggle is, where their frustration is rooting from, and help them come up with a solution, much like what I did with Mark, where his frustration was he just didn't have the time. So we helped him to find the time that he didn't look at like that. He didn't realize that his commute time could have been productive time in his business. And we ended up keeping the guy in the business, and he ended up making an absolute fortune in network marketing, and this guy was going to bail out of network marketing. So look, understanding if people are frustrated, if you have somebody in your group, if you have somebody in your business that's frustrated, the important thing for you to do is find out why they're frustrated. Sometimes people are frustrated, and you've heard me say this, especially those of you that haven't really followed me for a while. Some people are frustrated with the lack of results because they're not getting results, even though they're not putting in the work. Like no time has gone by. I've been in the business a week. I'm not making 10 grand. I'm like, dude, seriously? Or they've been in the business for a while and they're in the business, but they're not doing the business. And then they're mad because they're not getting results and they're frustrated and discouraged, but they're really not doing the work. That's a different story altogether. So, but again, regardless of what their story is, it's important for you to figure out what's going on with somebody. Like if I got somebody that's not getting results and they're doing the work and they're getting frustrated and they're moving towards quitting because they're not seeing profit or they're not seeing the kind of profit that they'd like to be seeing, then I got to figure out with him, like, so talk to me. Tell me what you're doing. How are you doing it? Maybe it's time for me to re-engage with that person and get more involved in working with them so I can kind of figure out maybe the mistakes that they're making. There's a lot of mentoring we do in this business, or there should be certainly, where we're working with our people and we're communicating with our people and we're helping our people and we're staying in a close-knit situation, ongoing and never-ending. And I'm going to talk about this on another episode because somebody asked me recently, just a couple weeks ago, I was like, how long do you work with people on your team? I'll actually do that in a future episode. But you have got to understand the different reasons why people bail out of a network marketing business and realize that there are some things that you can control and some things that you certainly just don't control. And the thing that you never will have control over is corporate decision making. Not a darn thing you can do about it. And that's okay, because they take all the risk of the huge investment in starting a network marketing business and all the employees and the overhead and all the stuff. And I mean, it's a huge undertaking to start a network marketing business. You can come in and pay the company a few bucks, start as an independent distributor, and make more money than pretty much everybody is at corporate anyhow. So, but the factor that is that the key factor is this: when you've got people that are in your business The way to prevent the real way for you to prevent quitters is to help them make money. That's really what it ultimately comes down to. Help them to have a successful experience. Help them to create success. Notice I said help them to. I didn't say do it for them or tell them to. It's help them to have a positive business experience. We did an episode a couple weeks ago on how to help people have a positive product experience. If we help people to create profit, and you have to understand, like when the person starts, and let's say they started today, there's a countdown timer. And the countdown timer is counting backwards to a point, we don't know how long the countdown timer is, but there's a countdown timer for most people. And if they're not making some amount of money, they're not seeing some level of progress, then when the countdown timer hits 0, they're toast, they're gone. And sometimes people have overly high expectations too. They're thinking, okay, well, I'm going to give this thing 30 days, I'm going to give it 60 days, and if I'm not making 10 grand a month after 60 days, I'm toast, I'm out of here. Which again would go back to you having clear lines of communication with the people that you're working with so that you can help them adjust their expectations if necessary. If somebody's thinking that, and not that you couldn't do it, but the reality of somebody making 10 grand a month and 10 grand by their third month is not normal. It happens, certainly. It's possible, but it's not normal. But if a person comes in and that's what they're thinking, and then they under-deliver on that expectation, you already know. If you have a high expectation and you don't deliver upon that expectation, frustration and discouragement come into play, and typically that's followed by quitting. And so the way for you guys to eliminate, and you can't do this 100%. This is not a 100% fail-proof, you do this and everybody's going to stay. But if you get into the habit of really being with your people and working with people on your team and helping them and daily, weekly, you're engaged with them. I mean, you're in different places, but we're like, if I was building a business right now, a network marketing business, and I got frontline team members, I'm communicating with those frontline team members multiple times a week. I'm all my personally enrolled people, I'm doing meetings with them, presentations, three-way calls, following up, helping. I'm engaged with them, so I already know what's going on. And because of that deep involvement, very likely you're already going to, you wouldn't even have to worry about asking what's going on with you or what are you frustrated with. You're already going to know if somebody's frustrated because you're not just signing people up and kind of like, go get it, go after it and, report back to me. I don't think that's really a good recipe, right? So why do people quit? Think to yourself, if you've quit for reasons other than company reasons, corporate reasons, what were those reasons why you quit? Did you not make money fast enough? Maybe sometimes the product's not the product wasn't the right match. Maybe you felt that the grass was greener over here and you decided to go over there, and then you realize that the grass is really green actually where you water it. Sometimes it appears like that oasis over there seems so amazing, and then you get over there like, oh my gosh, I made a mistake, right? But again, I don't need to even go into too much depth on this subject, but if you got people that, if you want to eliminate quitters or reduce the amount of people that are quitting, then you just have to understand that it's about your engagement with them, your regular, ongoing, consistent engagement with them, working with them, staying in communication with them. If you find somebody that's frustrated and having a bad day or things aren't going well, I get calls in my office all the time. Literally every single week I got people calling me in my office like, I'm frustrated, I'm struggling, and they're asking for my advice, and I'm digging in and finding out like, so what's up? What are you doing? How, talk to me about what you're doing and how you're doing it. And a lot of times we can, and I've taken many people, I had too many people to even count. Even as an independent speaker and a trainer, too many people to even, I can't even count how many people I've been able to turn. They were like they were at the edge of the cliff, right, ready to jump off and bail out of network marketing, and been able to completely turn them around just by giving them a little different perspective perhaps, and helping them figure out maybe something that they couldn't figure out by themselves, which is why they're reaching out for help. And sometimes they don't reach out for help, which is why you want to stay in some consistent form of communication with people and just be engaged, be involved with your people. The more involved you are with your people, the more you're focused on helping them to create a profit and really working on doing everything that you can to help them, not to do it for them, but to help them create a profit, they ain't going to go anywhere. Now, some of them might, but most of them aren't going to go anywhere, right? So that's your solution. It's not hard. The beautiful thing about most of what we do, honestly, in network marketing, it's not that technically challenging. Yes, it's work, of course. But it's not like it's super like, I don't understand that. I can't comprehend what you just said, Todd. It's not really that hard. So I appreciate you guys so much. I value you for plugging in here. I'd love to hear your comments. Love feedback from you guys. If you're on my podcast, thanks for plugging into my podcast. If you're watching me on YouTube, I appreciate that. Leave your comments there. But also, the main conversation happens over at toddfalcone.com/episode 39. That's the episode that you're plugging into right now. So there's some great downloads. There's some free resources on that page for you. Go to toddfalcone.com/episode 39. That's TODDFALCONE.com/episode 39. And that's it. We'll see you on the next episode. And I appreciate you guys for plugging in. Have an amazing day. Stay fearless. Until next time, we'll see you.